Introducing Nose to Tail, a podcast where we explore the world of aviation lifecycle solutions, insights, and more. Presented by Jet Midwest.
Welcome back to Atlanta at MRO. This is the Nose to Tail podcast, and I'm here with Gene from HRD. Gene, how you doing?
Doing well.
Fantastic. I'd like to start every episode with maybe a little background, how you got in the business, and
Sure.
kind of what your journey was like to get to where you are today.
Sure. Let's see. Starting out in the real world, I began in an industrial equipment manufacturer, kind of in their customer service role inside sales, and worked there for about 5 years. And then a local businessman in St. Louis owned 4 or 5 businesses. One of them was an aviation company. And a friend of mine recommended that I go and apply for that job just because of the company. And that company was looking for customer service inside sales to begin and grow their department. Took the job, and that was 24 years ago in this business. Got hooked right away, mostly because of the people I work with and deal with, and did a lot of phone work back then, and didn't do any traveling or anything. I really didn't get to see any of the shows and what the excitement was all about, but ultimately took the job, and we grew that department and moved on to regional manager, started traveling through some acquisitions, grew, and that was 16, 17 years at that company, and then now with HRD for 7. And then in the same niche, that same Chapter 26, Chapter 35, oxygen, emergency, fire bottle, it's the emergency equipment world, and it's been great ever since.
The idea of staying in that same genre of equipment, was there something specific about that you really enjoy?
Yeah, it is a kind of a finite niche within the industry. You know, it's one of those things that are necessary, but most passengers, and you don't know what's inside the aircraft, what really everything does, and having that knowledge and like really learning the expertise in our customer base, somewhat becoming an expert in it. I do not have an engineering background, but learning the product line, learning the applications, and all of that was very interesting to me. And being able to go into airlines down to regional corporate jet and deal with the engineering departments and learning applications, that kind of thing. I really enjoyed that part of it. And again, it's a niche that there's not many companies in the world that do what we do. Again, having that unique knowledge of what we offer.
Now, from my experience in dismantling aircraft, having lots of emergency equipment come through my supply chain, I know we certainly appreciate the expertise you guys have been able to partner with us on. What type of things have happened maybe in the last 10 years within your marketplace that have really given you guys either the opportunity to expand or maybe some airworthiness improvements with technology improvements? What's happening there in the last 10 years that's really gotten things moving for you guys?
Sure. Privately owned company, so we're always looking at ways to diversify, expand within our product mix. So over the years, there's been some expansion in capability due to the demand and increase with customer base. So we're opening up new facilities. We've had to acquire, there's a lot goes into, like, say, survival slides. You need space, that kind of thing. Knowing those, I would say, like, as far as developing product development to support that service. So there's a lot of PMA development, opportunities to grow and provide the parts needed to do the job. So there's a big demand on supply chain, and we kind of want to take control of that ourselves. So we offer multiple PMAs, a lot of technology involved there through fire bottles, oxygen bottles, survival equipment, oxygen equipment. So all of those items, each one of those categories has a demand on supply chain. So we manufacture quite a bit of our own parts, and then we've got great relationships with the OEMs in order to support that. As far as technology, expansion, and growth, we looked at some of the defibrillators, AEDs, other product mixes that kind of complement what we do now. So that's basically that.
Well, certainly from a regulatory side, some of the regulatory rules and changes, you guys are always on the cutting edge of those things. And certainly the 767 slides had some mandates against them. Can you talk to us through maybe what that journey was like for you guys?
On like some of the airworthiness directives and things?
Yeah, so when we had there was a huge run, right, on the 767 slides because maybe they had some design flaw. Maybe.
Correct.
Maybe talk us through that, because I know that was certainly from your industry. I learned all about that from you.
Yeah.
So I certainly think people would love to hear about that.
Yeah, when there's a scenario where there's either a modification or improvement necessary, we obviously work with the OEM suppliers and any kind of data required to come up with a solution to that. There are modifications and that can be implemented. So I think in that particular scenario, we had an opportunity to provide a solution to the configuration of that slide, I think that you're referencing. And you're right, there was a huge amount of those that were serviced, and necessarily like anytime there's an AD or an advisory service bulletin, we typically jump on that right away and figure out the ways to fix it.
So for those who aren't aware, maybe you can describe the reasoning behind why that came up. So what's happening with a 767 aircraft when that slide deploys? What was the flaw that was happening there?
Well, it was short, so there had to be an extension to it. So in a scenario, I believe, if there was a scenario where the nose end goes up, the slide didn't reach, so it would come short to the of the surface. There was an extension made to that, and so it allowed. Well, I guess there was a scenario where that happened, and they realized that there was a flaw, and of course everyone jumped on it and got it fixed, and we were the ones that ended up implementing that modification to most of the 767s out there.
Yeah, I remember when that happened. There was a pretty big program that you guys put through, because we had a couple of 767s at the time, and I think we were at the end of that curve.
Yeah.
But everybody eventually made it, I think.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Sure enough.
What type of project do you think you've probably jumped into that have really given you a lot of joy, like really neat things? Maybe give some introspection on a unique experience that you've had.
Sure. I've just kind of narrowed down to, like on the fire bottle side. I remember back in the day having a PMA line, and early days when PMAs were new, particularly on flight critical items like a cartridge or a squib, the detonating device of a fire bottle. I remember going into American Airlines and presenting those to them, and they're like, we're not familiar with PMAs, or it's an alternative part. We want an OEM only. But going in and talking about cost savings and providing a program to their own internal shop. So getting a relationship with an internal facility or an internal shop of an airline and solving some of their supply chain problems and reducing cost, that was kind of a neat thing to go in and differentiate and obviously compete against OEMs and directly with some of our other competition, to where, through negotiations, again, you're offering cost savings to an airline that's in need, and we did that.
Well, it's certainly great, because you created that solution originally for yourselves, right? Mm-hmm. And now you're able to offer that out to really what is a competing shop, even though it's an airline shop.
That's correct.
You would have liked that work to come into yours, but we're able to at least hand them a different solution, since that was an alternative way there to kind of get some revenue. So
that's correct. As an independent repair facility, non-OEM, we're one of the largest, if not the largest, repair facility that do what we do. And that allows us to have the resource to be able to create and build PMAs. We have our own PMA engineering department that if we have a need, or if a customer says, hey, why is this cost X amount of dollars, and we can have a solution. It's based on quantity, those kinds of things. We can develop products that will help reduce those costs. And it seems as if across the board, whether it's regional, corporate, even military, they really look at those opportunities to save that money.
We'll continue this discussion on the next episode of Nose to Tail. Don't forget to please like and subscribe to our channel. Presented by Jet Midwest.